This is the lineup, and this is a straight final, for there were only 6 entries. Lightweight women's pairs first introduced in 1995, and maybe a question I can pass to you, Dan. Is this one of the categories that could be sacrificed to bring the number of competition categories down to a more manageable number?
It could be, but it's interesting to see that it is a good full lineup here, even though it's a straight final. It's a pretty competitive lineup. We've seen it badly represented in the past with only 4 entries, but this is better, and it's competitive, and this is a good training ground for people coming on from smaller countries. It's the FISA's plan for universality, where they're trying to spread the gospel of rowing around the world and getting smaller nations to take part.
But to counter that argument, Dan, as the Americans on the far side take the early lead, there are other lightweight categories like the lightweight women's double sculls that they could be going for, because really 24 categories is in a way a huge menu to manage these days.
Well, it's certainly true, and there's also the possibility of introducing sprint racing into a program, a World Championship program, which would add a certain amount of pizzazz to a World Championships. But certainly the United States now, who've got half a length, about a quarter of a length on Great Britain. These are the two nations that tend to control this event, and the British pair settling into a pretty good rhythm there, sitting not as well back as you would expect. You'd expect to see them sitting back well on the finishes, but stroke there, leaning forward. Jo Neech leading quite a long way forward as she finishes the stroke.
So Great Britain, who've really been the dominant force in recent times. The United States, 3 times winners in the 90s. Have the lead though, and then of course the bronze medal here could be really interesting. Zimbabwe, Argentina, South Africa and Romania. Pick one of those from the remaining 4.
Well, new to rowing, that universality program, Zimbabwe, Argentina and South Africa, all emerging nations in the sport. Romania, obviously one of the great success stories of women's rowing.
So the British sitting on the shoulders of the Americans, and the one crew that's getting detached, Romania, we might see that in a moment, but on the far side there it is, America by almost half a length ahead of Great Britain, then Zimbabwe, Argentina, South Africa, and here are poor old Romania. And that's a really difficult position to be in, Dan. Yeah,
it's not nice being out in lane 6, but they're at a very low rating. You can see how steady they are coming forward. They seem a little bit inexperienced in this kind of a field, and you don't normally expect the Romanians to be that far back. They're usually very competitive. So perhaps bringing on some new, young, under-23 athletes. But Argentina very competitive, taking a look across there. Very aggressive, very tough leg drive there as they drive off the foot stretcher.
2 fights going on, so to speak, one for gold and silver, the other really for bronze as we come towards the half distance. And still America in the lead. But Jo Neech, 32 from Wiltshire, but does most of her rowing out of Henley these days, and Sarah Birch from Shepperton, very close to the Americans. And the next 500, 750 metres is going to tell all, I think. It's just a question of if the British now can move up on the Americans and really push them.
It's very difficult for them here because there's been no heats, no semi-finals, no repêchages. There's been nothing for them to judge, so all of this is completely new. They have no idea what their competitors are like, and now Great Britain making a charge, making a push on the United States. United States trying to hold them off. Experience in the British crew. They know they've been here before. They're medalists before in different boats, and that's that experience that is seeing them now move past the United States. Very cool, very sure of themselves. Good racing.
Yeah, they haven't quite got past the Americans, but you sense that it might not be too long. The Americans on the far side, Michelle Whitcomb-Borkus. Well, she's had her fair share of problems. She's in the stroke seat, had a really nasty bike crash, which ended up in her breaking her pelvis. and her partner, that's Suzanne Walter. Well, she's also had her fair share of medical problems. She was a gymnast originally, but then had some really difficult knee problems and switched to rowing. But those two now coming under real pressure from the British. Meanwhile, it's the Argentinians still holding off Zimbabwe for bronze.
Yes, the United States had a little bit of a push there. They moved back away again from the British pair. It seemed as if Britain was about to go by, but the Americans responded very, very well, and they've pushed back out again to about half a canvas.
So can Great Britain ask the question a second time and get the desired result? Last 500 metres coming up now in this women's lightweight pairs. Not very much to choose between America on the far side or Great Britain, and not too much actually between Argentina and Zimbabwe for the bronze medal. So two duels, and who is going to win each of them? America there on the far side. Now the British again having another go here, Dan.
Yeah, and Argentina coming too, nearest the camera. Argentina only half a length down on the British, on the two British and American leaders, pushing up very, very well. Could Argentina get back on top here? It's Great Britain now just moving past United States. Maybe this is the one that they can actually do. Will this experience show? Zimbabwe coming very strongly as well. Zimbabwe trying to get back on terms with Argentina.
Yes, this is really good, but this is the push now that Joe Nitch and Sarah Birch have got to make count. They've got to really go through with this and try and dominate the American pair and really destroy them mentally as well as physically. They've got to really send a message to the Americans that they've got no hope. Through into the last couple of hundred metres now, and look at Zimbabwe take on Argentina, and Zimbabwe move into the bronze medal position just, I would say, as Great Britain eke out another precious few centimetres. We're into the front of the enclosures now. America on the far side, Great Britain, and they are going away, Great Britain, and Joe Nitch and Sarah Birch, I believe, have got the better of the two Americans on the far side. And here you can see locked together on the left there, Argentina in the foreground, just beyond them Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe just about in third place, but Great Britain going for the line now. And this looks to be the first gold medal coming up for the British women's squad after what has been a disappointing regatta, but they're just about going to get there. Joe Nitch and Sarah Birch get there. Meanwhile, look at Argentina coming back on Zimbabwe, and America gets second, and Argentina have fought back to take the bronze medal.
Well, that was some fantastic racing there. The British pair were up to 44 strokes a minute. They absolutely tore into that. And we're saying earlier on that maybe this is an event that should get dropped. Well, I think the girls out here today have shown that it is an event worth considering, worth keeping in the programme.
They will soon. So Great Britain strongest at the business end of the race, 1:49.52 for the last quarter, over 2.5 seconds quicker than the Americans. Reception for these two young women, who arguably are the one ray of sunshine at this regatta for the British women's squad. Two Americans, Suzanne Walter and Michelle Whitcomb-Borkus.
Patricia Conte.
And once again, back on the medal podium for Patricia Conte and her partner, Elina Urbano. 98, it was a silver medal. Today, though, a very hard-fought bronze.